Zhuo Fan has claimed that he can prove the black jade false, and the green-clad seller immediately demands proof. The seller accuses Zhuo Fan of spreading lies and insists that the jade goods he sells are genuine. Zhuo Fan replies that what is real and what is fake will become clear soon enough. As a crowd gathers around the street-side table, he mixes sulfur, alfalfa, and other ingredients into a bowl of water. Placing the disputed stone in this potion, he explains, will reveal whether it is genuine and settle the matter. The seller agrees to the test and releases the green-black stone into the water. It splashes beneath the surface, where dark and red fragments appear around it. A shard-like red formation spreads through the bowl as bubbles and ripples give way to boiling crimson liquid. The spectacle shocks the watching customers, but Zhuo Fan already has his answer. The potion has stripped away the imitation's color. Holding up the discolored stone, he confirms that the teal-robed woman's judgment was correct. This supposed treasure is worth only about 3 spirit stones. Someone strikes the seller from behind, and he turns to demand who hit him. The deception turns the seller's own customers against him. They surround him, demanding refunds and the return of their spirit stones, while Zhuo Fan watches the fraud collapse under its own weight. A threat is hurled toward Zhuo Fan amid the uproar, but the teal-robed woman credits him for providing the proof she lacked. She had recognized the jade as false without knowing how to demonstrate it. Zhuo Fan explains that he was once cheated by the same trick, then asks whether she still wants the stone now that its true value is known. She never intended to buy it, she only wanted the seller told what it was worth. She walks away as Zhuo Fan and Captain Peng watch, and Peng calls her strange. Zhuo Fan reflects on the woman's sharp eyes. Addressing Captain Peng familiarly as Old Peng, he tells him to return to the inn without him and asks to borrow 10 spirit stones. Peng reluctantly hands over the money, then cries while clutching the pouch as Zhuo Fan says he still has business to handle and walks away. Crossing a courtyard, Zhuo Fan notices a man hiding behind a tree. Brat greets him from behind the tree. The hidden man is the disgraced jade seller. Zhuo Fan approaches, says he is glad to have found him, and offers 10 spirit stones for the false black jade. The proposal leaves the seller stunned. The stone may be fake, but it resembles genuine jade closely enough to fetch a high price from an unsuspecting buyer. He realizes that Zhuo Fan intends to resell it through the same kind of deception. The plan sounds good to him, the price does not. 10 spirit stones cannot make up for the seller's losses or the humiliation Zhuo Fan caused him. When Zhuo Fan asks what price would satisfy him, the seller gives his real answer, Zhuo Fan's life. Armed men close in as the seller blames Zhuo Fan for making him lose face. He demands spirit stones and 3 kowtows, offering only a less painful death in return. Zhuo Fan points out that he came to conduct an honest transaction, but the grievance has already replaced any thought of business. Are we finished discussing this? He asks. The seller orders his men forward, and they rush in. The seller reacts in shock as an armed attacker raises a sword behind a blue-haired man who turns in alarm beneath the raised weapon. A sword sweeps across the ground, but the ambush does not unfold as the seller expected. Zhuo Fan stands before the frightened seller and admits that he does not like killing people. Green energy lashes through the nearby attackers as he adds that some people insist on courting death. By the time Zhuo Fan smiles, the attackers are fleeing. He walks away while an outstretched arm remains visible in the foreground. At the Benevolent Tavern, he orders old Peng to guard the entrance and allow no one inside. Peng agrees, and Zhuo Fan reaches for the door alone. Inside the tavern, Zhuo Fan passes through the quiet interior and reaches toward another door. Beside a table, his hand moves toward a small purple object. Dark purple energy suddenly rises from it and gathers around him, catching him by surprise. The object lifts toward his outstretched hand and erupts in brilliant light. Within a dark red, human-like form, a single purple point begins to shine. Through that flare comes a startling confirmation. They were right after all. Zhuo Fan recognizes the floating red object as a blood spirit. Such beings are born within exotic minerals, taking shape only after absorbing the blood of thousands and the essence of the sun and moon over countless millennia. The spirit floats between his hands, suspended within a glowing circular formation. To demonic cultivators, it is an extraordinary treasure because it can be refined into a blood infant. Once emerged, that blood infant can steal blood essence, grow alongside its cultivator, and become increasingly ferocious as both advance. In his previous life, Zhuo Fan says, possessing a blood infant would have made even saint stage cultivation seem insignificant. He cuts his wrist and lets his blood fall into the dark red space below. The drops descend, gather, and condense into a glowing gem-like object as energy spirals around it. Watching the new form take shape, Zhuo Fan claims the treasure that has fallen into his hands. The red jade-like object then plunges through a streaked crimson void and strikes in a brilliant burst, sending radiant lines outward as the refinement begins.